following the protests in Los Angeles where ICE raided and brought in the National Guard. There are all these charges that these people allegedly assaulted officers. Now we're seeing those charges dropped by the DOJ because ICE can't stop lying about what happened.
It's been really funny because during these protests, which they called riots, all we heard about all the time was how many officers were being assaulted by these people in the streets. It was ridiculous. You wouldn't believe it. It's so much worse, they said, than all of the video footage, that didn't exist. And what we found out now is that they've obviously impaneled a grand jury in California. They're bringing all these cases. And that is about the easiest possible way to secure an indictment, is to go in front of a grand jury. As the old saying goes, you could get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. But not in this case, because it turns out a lot of these officers who claimed they were assaulted had to go back and actually correct their previous statements that they gave at the time and said, well, okay, I wasn't actually assaulted. The commanding officers, the higher up in the police force also gave these contradictory statements that said, no, I was there and the officer was not hit by this individual. Nothing happened. So we're not sure why he said that. And the grand jury is basically just saying, all right, gone, 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 and almost indicting nobody. I think they've had, 7 total indictments out of all of these horrible riots? 7 people that they've indicted.
Well, they've tried to indict a lot more, and there's reporting from the LA Times that the Attorney General is running down the hallways screaming at the assistant prosecutors to do better, but they've got to work with what they've got to work with. And what's happening is, as the process moves forward, one officer in particular who lies, was involved with 5 different cases. Not only did the video contradict what he said happened, he was the one assaulting the protester out of nowhere. There's another, Terrazas was another gentleman who they said was this violent guy. They had to subdue him violently. He was so concussed in front of the judge ordered that he receive medical attention immediately. They dropped the charges against him and have now filed misdemeanor charges because they're trying their damnedest to gather something out of this. But what we're seeing is that this is a made up for TV, and when it hits the criminal justice system, the people are saying no. There's no evidence here. And not only is there no evidence, it seems like your officers are the ones committing crimes.
And it's very, kind of mirrors almost what we're seeing happen in Washington, D.C. right now with Donald Trump's takeover of the city. They boasted that, hey, we've had 300 arrests. We're averaging 30 a day, they said. Okay, well, before that, the average number of arrests every day in Washington, D.C. was 58. So you're actually doing a worse job than if you had done nothing at all. And videos have emerged. I mean, I'm seeing them every day of these cops. Either they're harassing people standing on their own front porch, they're walking by in these roving gangs, harassing individuals. And in one instance, Monday morning, a video came out. A food delivery driver, was making his food delivery, was swarmed by officers, slammed on the ground. One of the officers, while slamming him, knocked his own head onto the concrete and I think got a pretty nasty wound from that. But this is what's happening. It's not the people that we're told are criminals or rioters or horrible people. It's this Gestapo force that Donald Trump has sent out that think they're each Rambo and they can do whatever the hell they want. And they're finding out very quickly in the court system that's not the case.
Well, and then we're also seeing reports that 3 different governors are sending National Guard members to D.C. to arrest 30 people a day. Again, the National Guard is going to outweigh the citizenry at some point, and the cost of all this that the taxpayers are having to suffer for no clear reason. I guess this is what happens when the alternative facts meets reality, is that, again, there's nothing to be done. Violent crime is down in D.C., and the National Guard is not going to stop muggers. I don't understand where the seed of this was, other than he wants people in uniform marching around D.C.
Right. It's this intimidation tactic. That's what it was about in L.A. Things did not get bad. You didn't have protesters all over the streets until he sent in the National Guard. There were a few small groups here and there prior to that. Once he did that, that's when it erupted. And that's what he wants. He wants people to go and assault these, National Guard members or ICE or the FBI or whoever it is, because then it fits his narrative. Then he gets to sell that and say, look, they're beating the cops. I have no choice but to basically declare martial law, take over everything. And I think that's what he's moving towards. Unfortunately for him, these protesters are not fitting into the narrative he wants to sell.
Well, all of this is certainly coming on the heels, too, of him doing literally anything possible to make people stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein and his involvement with a decades-long sex scandal.